had Rudy, we had Antoine Gilbert, we had Gillett, and then Maceo Boston back to talk with our team. And now there's a great NCAA rule where they can actually mingle. Let's see a picture of Rudy talking to, or actually Jalen talking to Iggy. So it's really good that we can, that the NCAA has made that change. So I wanted to treasure that, and I apologize for being late. So this is, as you can tell in this game, we're tired, we're beat. And credit credit Rutgers for playing us so tough, not giving us great shots. But I'm just so glad we got through this game and get refreshed both with our legs, but also with our game. If you do the math with whatever we had, it was 8 games in like 22 days. And I'm not accurate on this, but if you take the days off each week, it's like there's only one practice for almost every game, but I think Michigan State. And so you're just playing and you're playing, and you just can't. The shooting drills, the repetition drills we do, we haven't done any of them. So hopefully we can get back to that. To be 6-2 in that run is really good. If anybody looked at our schedule and say, okay, forget about how they played, forget about things like that. They're 6-2 out of that run. We're going to take it. And now we got some time to retool, to refresh a little bit, and hopefully we'll be better through it. Because we take another, with 9 games left in the schedule, right? To have a percentage like that would be a good percentage as we go forward. So again, Rutgers is depleted now with Williams gone, and they're really their backcourt, whatever. And I was really pleased with the way their backcourt can score. I think that those guys did not shoot a high percentage, 33%. Actually, Muhammad in particular really gutted it out. Jerron gave us some good rest as well. So, and Duncan Robinson, it's what we needed today from him. He's probably more rested than some of the guys, and when he made the threes in the first half when Isaiah was in foul trouble, it was just a sign, let's play him more. It's a type of matchup he can handle, and he did.
The past 3 games, the team has had some of its slowest starts. Beyond fatigue, what do you think has been consistent at this point?
I probably can't explain. I think everybody is playing us. We don't know we're guessing how they're going to play us. So usually I'm just watching. I want our guys to be as basic as they can in the first few times of course, so I can find out how they're playing. I don't know what they're going to do. Again, another team switched every ball screen, so yeah, most of them, and so we're trying to figure it out. But I can't put my finger on that. But hopefully we'll have better starts going forward.
On your right with Noah.
John, I don't see too many box scores with the team only having 1 assist for the whole game with 13 turnovers. What was the key defensively?
Yeah, we had to lock down individually. This is a great team that guys can get their own shot. And you got to have good defensive guards to do that. And both Xavier and you saw that Corey Sanders had a tremendous game up at Michigan State, and he got his own shot. He was almost unstoppable. And now Xavier did a great job on him today. Muhammad with the kid number 0 there, Baker, right, did a great job on him. So it's and then keeping them off when they don't shoot a high percentage. So they are going to get a high number of offensive rebounds. And they got some in the first half, 2 in the second half when they shot another low percentage was big for us.
Down front here with Chris.
X also led you with 8 rebounds and 4 assists to 1 turnover.
Eric Walton, a
little bit. Just talk about how he kind of gutted it out there in the second half.
I mean, that's what we had to do. I mean, today we got done with our shoot around, and the X wanted, I brought X, but not our shoot around, our walk through at the hotel. And X wanted to get here early. He's really prided himself in just growing as a player, and used to be foul trouble in there, right, in those same situations, or not boxing out, or not going into rebound. And now he's running lanes. He hit a big 3 for us today, and a big layup as well.
Over to your right with Zach.
You mentioned the stretch of 8 games in 22 days. I guess, what did you learn about your team from a character perspective?
Today, I said after First of all, you understand when you win a game like we did at Michigan State, such a great game for both. It's a big game for both teams. The letdown is inevitable, and we fought through the letdown in every situation except Nebraska. And so I just think if you have high character kids who get it, they don't point fingers, they just get it, and it's not always going to be immediately, and they're not always going to be perfect, and they're going to have bad games, right? That has nothing to do mentally. It just doesn't go that day. That you can still win, right? And like I said, for us to go through that stretch You know, I would love to, newspaper reporter, go with us through that stretch. Probably some of you would like to. Or people from the scheduling, go through that stretch with us and see what these kids go through, and you'd be even prouder of how they perform.
The grind of a basketball season, going back to Zach's question for a minute, 8 games, 22 days. What do you think about going into a very tough game against Purdue?
Yeah.
Part of this stretch. What do you think?
I don't want to think about that yet, Casey. Is that okay?
Yeah,
right? Right. But on Monday, our kids need just a day off, right? And that's going to be huge for us, just to have a day to just not kind of refuse anybody going to the gym except you go to the training room. Not allowed in the gym. Don't touch a ball. We just need to do that. And then the way Purdue is playing, we got quite a challenge. But I think then they're going to have another day off, right, before we have Northwestern. So it is that's what we need. That we just need rest, and that when you have a 2-day prep, right, with a day off, the middle day is the get better day. We haven't been able to get better, except, like I said, just the Michigan State game maybe was the only time that we really had the ability to get better after a game.
Have you seen a stretch like this before?
I can't recall it. And it's a scheduling quirk, and we just got to grin and bear it, because we all felt that it was worth it to play Madison Square Garden to compress things. But even ahead of time, you know, that whole stretch we had right now, this has been, they've moved the season up 4 or 5 days. Next year we can start earlier. And when we go back to our traditional week, we won't have it. But every team's going through it. Some will have more compressed than others. But I found it ironic that after that great game at Michigan State, right, they played once and we played 3 times up to today. So that's a difficult stretch for our guys, and I'm glad we end up getting enough wins in that.
Back on television.
Coach, generally you're good teams here, one of the best offensive teams in the nation, efficiency-wise. Defense, not as good.
Not as good.
But this year,
thanks for the compliment.
This year your defense is the best in terms of its efficiency under your tenure. I mean, I think you'd probably be in the top 25.
It wasn't the other night, but I think that we do have some efficiency there, and I think it's growth in the supple areas. And Xavier Simpson and Muhammad Ali, you know, can guard people on the perimeter and set things up. So, and I think we understand who we are. Now we've been double teaming in some areas. We've been hedging in some areas that we traditionally did not do. And that's between Billy Donlin last year and Luke this year. These nice subtle changes are paying off. And we're a better scoring team than we were today, but we just got to get through and just get some fresh legs again so we can make some shots.
Most said, though, in the offseason that the guys took it on them to want to be better defensively.
Yeah.
Is that a true statement?
I think they want to, and we got to just continue to. I think that a couple of our guys right now, a turnover at the other end or a missed foul, according to them at the other end, means bad defense. So now our new guys, the Livers, the Pools, the Matthews, you know, that are in these games have to be able to, change ends and still play defense. And I've said it before. It was just like if your quarterback threw an bad interception, and then he had to play safety the next play, right? It's hard to do that. Well, that's what Xavier Simpson has to do. He has to go in, and if he has a turnover, he's got to turn around and play defense immediately. So it's I love the way we're growing. It's not fast enough. That's a very frustrating game for me today. Just some things that we did not do, but we'll keep working at it.
Stay there with Justin.
First off, did you tie that yourself?
It's a fake. It's not fake. Yeah, I did not. I tapped that. No, it's a great this team impact. If I could just say a minute, this young man, Jude Stamper, has just been a light of our lives. He comes to practice. He smiles every day. He's got incredible challenges. Our kids love him. And so when somebody said this, we don't do this a lot, but whether Martin Luther King Day and this, anytime last year was Chad Tuff, when we got these isolated incidents to make a statement, I think that's part of our team's purpose, right, is to be a good example. But go ahead.
Duncan Robinson just embracing that roll off the bench. He was the spark today. For a senior to maybe have his role change from the beginning to now, how gratifying is it?
Well, here's it simple with Duncan, and I've said this before. He needs to hunt shot. He needs to shoot it and turn it down, not look for permission on shots. We're going to take his shots, and good or bad, he can shoot it in. What we see in practice in his drills is phenomenal. But then when we go into practice sessions, he's asking for permission. He doesn't need permission. I trust him, right? So it is really important that he just comes off punting more, and he did today. I think Luke talked with him, Dre talked with him, Sadi. I sent him a quick text today saying, Duncan, you're going to be terrific today. Just come off shooting, and he did.
Down over here with John.
I want to get your thoughts on the Big Ten at this point, at the midway point, and your position in it.
Well, I think that to you it may be a surprise. You know, Keita Bates-Diop at Ohio State is, you know, if he was there last year, Ohio State would have had a much different season. And they're seasoned a little bit. They got a great freshman big man. So that's the way they're playing is really interesting. But I've never seen anybody just annihilate people the way Purdue is right now. I mean, they're just like they're so very, very good. And then I think that am I forgetting anybody else that's way up there? Those are the two teams that do not have 2 losses, right? And then any of the teams with 2 or 3 losses, we're all fighting. We're all fighting, but those teams are not even close to people right now. They're winning those games, and everybody's got to keep fighting. But we're only a couple losses away from that.
Back over there with Nick.
With Jerron, he's getting some more minutes. What have you seen from him different in practice, I guess, and how has he handled this whole situation?
Well, I think there's two things, Nick. I think number one is we needed Eli to get his confidence back. It happens with freshmen all the time. And in practice, in games, Eli was not himself. He was asking for permission. He was tentative. Where Jerron, we put him on the scout team, and he did some really good things. So we just made that flip, let Eli watch the game a little bit, and let Jerron go. So he's given us some things. He's playing better defense. We have different rules that he was not picking up as quickly. And but other than that, I mean, he's handled it like a champion. I told his parents they should be so proud of how he handled it. He gave up a lot to come here to play on the big stage, and it's not that it hasn't worked out so far. I think down the stretch, and he makes a couple threes today that he makes in practice. I think we're talking about him a lot more right now, and he will.
Down here with Chris again.
Kind of a teaching moment for Jordan there at one point.
Yeah. This is the way it's been all year long, and I actually embrace it, even though I probably don't look like I'm embracing it. But we had he just had a turnover, and that's a carry, and he's got to clean that up. And now you got a chance to make up for it, and you try to have a highlight again. When it's the simplest bounce pass for a basket. Right? So he's learning, and he got to continue to learn what he has to do because he's a dynamic player that we love having. But scoring the ball is really hard in this league, and when you have that opportunity to score and you give it away, when it's a simple play, right, is something that he's going to learn from.
I'm going to take a couple more. We'll go Charles and then Andrew.
Coach, you mentioned earlier that it was worth it to go to Madison Square Garden. Well, Big Ten tournament started with traditional Chicago, Indianapolis, and so forth. And I know we brought some teams in from the East. Is that what we're going to be a Madison Square Garden tournament?
Yeah, I just think we have enough people living in New York City and the surrounding areas that are Big Ten graduates. And I think it'll be exciting to be there. I've been there in the Big East tournament 5 straight years. In March is you know the air's changing a little bit. The people are the weather's changing a little bit in New York, and it's just a neat place to be. And so I know that Michigan will travel. Well, they won't travel. They don't have to travel. They'll just be there. Where sometimes in Indianapolis we don't have a big Michigan following down there. So I think it's good for us. I think we'll be strong down there. But I think it's worth it that we say, we're in Maryland, in D.C. last year. That worked out all right for Michigan, right? And now we're there, and now we're back to Chicago and Indy for a while. But I think it was a great idea. And but the schedule, the grind of it, right, is the only thing we could do, and we just all have to adjust.
Andrew, you want to close this out?
Coach, back to the slow starts for a minute. You said you want your team to be basic so you can kind of assess things. I guess with some of the turnovers that are happening early in games, are they giving you a chance to do that?
No, there's some things I can't explain coming out, right? And the biggest thing was the ball's not sticking today, and the ball stuck immediately. In other words, sticking means you got somebody open and you don't move the ball. And so whether it's nerves, whatever it is, and they're also reading how the team is going to play us. And when they're going through those reads, I think it's given us some paralysis. So it is it's something that we just got to keep working on, getting better starts, and because I think Michigan State, we had a pretty solid start, but we certainly didn't against Nebraska, we didn't against Maryland, and that we didn't again today. But we fought through it with good defense.